If you felt off in conversations lately, like you feel like you can't quite get your rhythm, please know you are not the only one. Research is showing that all of our social muscles are decaying. In fact, just last week I was at church and I was talking to someone about this topic and she went, "Oh my gosh, that's me. I feel so awkward now." And her reasoning was, "I've been in mom mode for so long that I'm not around people as much." And I went, "Oh, I'm on the opposite side. It's because I don't have kids, so I'm not at the soccer practices, etc. that I feel like my social skills are decaying." So no matter what, we all seem to be going through this. And like I said, research is showing this is true. And it's probably showing up even in your workplaces, in the break room or in the elevator. That good morning in the hallway probably has disappeared. Or when you do it, for some reason now good morning feels awkward. So today I'm going to show you why this social rustiness is totally normal and how to get back into the groove of social. Welcome to Creating Opportunities, the podcast for professionals who know that building relationships isn't just a soft skill, it's a career advantage. I'm Cassandra Thompson, and every week we talk about how to better connect in our work lives. Whether you're leading a team, landing a client, or frankly, just feel disconnected in your day-to-day, this podcast is here to help. Like I said in the intro, this is a problem that we are all starting to notice both in ourselves and in others. So first thing, just give others grace when they're socially awkward too. But we are seeing it when you try and make small talk in the break room now. Honestly, when you meet someone new and you start panicking in your brain of what am I supposed to talk about? What should I ask them? This used to be obvious to us and now we've lost it. Or we're seeing it in complete avoidance with everyone staring at their phone. Y'all, I wish I had taken a picture the other day. La La Land Kind Cafe just opened in Scottsdale, and I will try to put a picture right here if you're watching on YouTube. La La Land Kind Cafe, it's a long name, looks like, but it's bright white. And I was going by really early in the morning, so it was dark out. So the brightness of the restaurant really juxtaposed against the darkness outside, and it just opened, so it was super popular. It looked like a room of zombies, and everybody was standing around like this, like driving by and just seeing a room of people, not one soul talking, just this. It was crazy. So we've all defaulted to just grab our phone. I'm not saying you can't grab your phone while you're waiting for coffee, I do too, but it was quite the picture. And then on top of this, everyone and their mom is saying they have social anxiety, which I think some social situations just are more anxiety filled. A first date is anxiety filled. Going to the first party with a group of new friends even feels a little uncomfortable. That's normal. But there does seem to be this rising level of you're feeling socially awkward, socially anxious, in just regular old situations, mainly because we have less of them. I'm going to talk about this more in terms of the workplace, but it goes for everything. We now live in an efficiency culture. We want efficiency. We want convenience over everything. That has trained us to protect our time and avoid any friction. And that is so helpful for our calendars and so terrible for connection. Because when those micro moments disappear, and honestly, that's where a lot of this comes from. It's not, oh, I need to have more long coffees with friends. I need to go to more parties. It's the efficiency has killed micro moments of connection. And when those get eradicated, social fluency completely disappears. Our social muscle atrophies. Here's the good news. You don't need like a whole new personality. You don't need to fake it and act like somebody else. If you're an introvert, you can be your introverted self. You still need people. If you're an extrovert, you can be your extroverted self. You definitely need people. It's not about being around bigger situations, and it's not a personality thing. It's a practice thing. We just need to be putting in more reps because, like I said, our opportunities have disappeared, so we need to start bringing those opportunities back. So because we're getting less social interactions, I see three main things keeping us rusty. First, overthinking it. We all do this. This is totally normal. We start going, what if I say something stupid? What if I look dumb? What if I mess up and I say the wrong thing? Y'all, I did this the other night at a dinner because I'm socially rusty. I was at a dinner and I said something that I went, oh my gosh, Did that sound like I was trying to compare, like one up? I wasn't. I was trying to connect. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And I like couldn't quit thinking about it. We start overthinking, so then that leads us into avoiding altogether. That is choosing mobile order, saying no to the invite to go on a walk or the invite to the party or whatever. Like we just go, no, I'm not that kind of person. No, that's not for me. Or I'll be very honest, I think a lot of people have convinced themselves because of what happened almost 6 years ago. It's wild to say 6 years and it's still affecting us. They had to get more insular, that I think we now feel rusty and we've convinced ourselves, no, I'm better off on my own. I don't need people. So I will just avoid these things where I have to interact with others, instead of recognizing people make life better. And that's not just like a nice thing to say. Scientifically, it's been proven we live longer if we have people, but we don't get out as much. So we start overthinking things, we avoid, and then more efficiency creeps in, that we really prioritize it over everything, that now that connection looks like an annoyance instead of fuel. So I talked about this a lot in last week's episode, but now when somebody comes by our desk and says, hey, how are you doing today? We go, they're interrupting my work, instead of going, wow, that's really nice that I work in a place where someone cares about me. And again, don't get me wrong, we all need to respect people's time and boundaries and they need to get work done. But how many times has your phone ring from a friend or family member and you can see their name and you go, oh, I don't want to talk to them right now. I'm in the middle of stuff. That's me. I do. So we let that trump relationship. So essentially it's a loop. We have fear, so we avoid, we prioritize efficiency even more, the social skill atrophies even more, and now we have more fear. It just keeps going round and round. And the structure of modern life is fully keeping us apart. I know I've brought this up a million times, but in Justin Whitmel Early's book, I believe it's called You Need People, he has a great intro where he talks about it as a current of life is fully dragging us one direction, that we do not need to be with each other, and we need to fight against that current to make these moments with each other happen. So even though life is trying to get us to not talk to each other, we need to start putting in the reps to talk to each other again, so that we don't feel so socially awkward overall. So I'm going to get into things that you can actually practice, but before I do, I want to go with 2 mindset shifts that I think are really important to have when working on our social skills. Number 1, sounds really obvious. It's not I'm bad at this, it's I'm working on this. I think a lot of people do this where they go, oh, I'm really bad at this. I talk about this all the time on the career channel around job interviews. People go, oh, I'm so bad at interviews. If you keep telling yourself that, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that you go into the interview and you start in a flop sweat and you're like, I'm bad at interviews. So if you go into social settings going, I'm really bad at social settings, I'm really bad at social skills, I'm not good at this, then you're setting yourself up for failure. Instead, you need to say, I'm working on this. I am not of the mindset that we go all the way to the other side with an affirmation that's like, I am awesome socially. Let's be realistic of where we are. So I'm working on my social skills. I'm working on feeling more socially confident. Things like that. Reframe that, because no one goes from bad to expert. Fun fact, you can never get to like expert status on social skills. Everyone always has something around communication and connection that they can work on, but you're not gonna go from bad to expert. You gotta work on it. Honestly, you are Bambi learning to walk. Okay? We are a deer trying to walk for the first time, and we are splaying all over, which goes to the second mindset. Just embrace awkwardness. With working on it, embrace that it is going to be awkward. Like I just said, you can't go from haven't left the house or barely talked to people to now I want to be the ringleader of social conversations and walk away going, yes, I'm awesome. That's not going to happen. And I think there is something to just embracing awkward. If you go into your next social setting, whether that's a party, the next meeting at work, a conference, I don't care what it is. If you go into that just going, yeah, it's probably going to be a little awkward, it removes its power, if you will. We talk about when I say the thing, I take away its power. And in some things I go, all right, fine. But I do think in this case, it takes away the power of awkward, because what shocks me is how people do something and it didn't come out quite the way they wanted, and then they beat themselves up about it forever. And you know what? You're a person and you say awkward things, because we all do, because people are messy. I had someone message me yesterday something that was actually insulting, and I had to remind myself, she didn't mean it the way it came out. We're all just working on our communication. We're not all good at it. It's okay. Like, just embrace that we're all gonna be a little messy. I talk about that a lot in my Confidently Connect workshop too, the one that's solely about how do you go into any sort of networking event, whether that's a mixer, a conference, a holiday party, etc. How do you walk in and feel like yourself? And one of the mindset shifts there that I talk about is just acknowledge that it's gonna be awkward. So when awkward happens, you're like, yep, that's life. So I am all about embracing the awkward. Now, let's talk about the practice that you can do. To do this practice, the number one thing you have to do is you have to get out of your house, okay? We have to go places. Now, you don't have to go to a party. You don't have to go to a dinner with 10 people. I'm just saying that if we want to get better socially, it's not going to happen staying at home. I remember Dr. Phil and others giving pre-dating apps. I still remember this was on Oprah. He was like, if you want to get married, unless you're going to marry the FedEx guy, you gotta leave your house. Now we can't even marry the FedEx guy because he just drops the package. So if we want to get better socially, we've got to leave the house. Once you're out of the house, we don't need huge conversations. I just want you to have what I call a micro conversation. Can you tell micro? Is that a prefix? Is that a word on its own? I don't know. It is the theme of my year. Micro, micro, micro. So I need you to have micro conversations. Honestly, this is barely a conversation. This is 10 to 30 seconds, okay? That's it. These can happen anywhere. The counter at Baja Fresh when you order. They can happen in the hallway when you say good morning at work. The elevator when you ask someone, what floor? The checkout lane when you ask the checker, how's your day going? That's all this is. So to make micro conversations happen, number one, we have to choose the human route, not mobile order, not drive up at Target, not self-checkout. We have to put ourselves in situations where we are going to have to interact with another person. And yes, that is increasing a level of friction in your life. I don't know about you, but I'm seeing friction being the buzzword everywhere. And people are realizing we have taken all the friction out, and with it, we've taken out our humanity. So we got to add some friction back in. So could it take a little longer? Yeah, but that's okay. Because it's valuable, because it's not wasting time. We're building social skills and connection. So choose the human route. Then start with one friendly line. Like I said, to the barista, how's your day going? Also, watch them get overjoyed that you took a second and acknowledge them as a human being. It is why I am shocked when I say, hey, how's your day going? And they go, oh, it's not bad. How's your day going? Like they let go, oh, and I have had multiple go, thank you so much for asking, because nobody asked them. We get to put care and kindness into the world at the same time. So say, how's your day going to the barista? When you're in the checkout line, ask the checker if they've tried that new product you put in your cart. Again, this is barely a conversation. The one I have given forever is when you're in an elevator, if you go first, and I know I said this a minute ago, but if you're in an elevator and you go first in and you're by the door, you look at somebody and say, what floor? It is 2 words, but it is getting us talking to other people again. It is getting us expressing ourselves verbally instead of through written form in text all the time. So it's still helpful. And then here's the key. We have to be okay with any outcome. Some people are going to respond and be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for asking. I'm doing really great. How are you doing? And then you're going to respond to them because you're a normal human being. And you might have a little bit longer of a conversation. Some people are just going to go, fine. And that's it. That's okay. We don't worry about them. We're building our social muscle. Here is why this works. We are just trying to keep social muscles warm. As we have learned, social skills are a muscle. And just like any muscle, when I stop working out, I don't see tone definition in my arms anymore. When I start doing some reps again, oh, the tone definition comes back. It's the same thing in our social skills. When we haven't talked to any, that muscle atrophies. When we start saying words again to people, even when it feels meaningless, like what floor do for us, it means something. It's building those reps and those skills so that when you go to the birthday party, when you go to the dinner with 10 people, when you have to sit in that meeting and make small talk at the beginning at work, it doesn't feel terrifying. You don't feel like an alien. You get to feel comfortable and like yourself. Now, on top of this, it has a bunch of other benefits to it. For one, you're being present in your life. Second, it promotes turn taking, which is the key to conversation. Conversation is a game of toss. You are tossing the ball, they are tossing it back. If they answer you and ask the question back, you go back and forth. This is good. We're building the muscle even more. It's like instead of doing 1 rep of bicep curls, you now did 2. Great. And it destigmatizes participation. Somebody stopping by and saying, hey, how are you doing, is no longer an annoyance. You start realizing this is how we care for one another. So my challenge to you is to try and have 3 micro conversations this week. That's it, y'all. 3 micro conversations. That could be saying hi to someone in the hallway. That could be saying good morning at work. All the other examples I already gave outside of work, you just gotta do. But I will add to it, try and be mindful of how it felt after. It is really interesting how much we go into situations with no awareness, and how we don't think about how it made us feel in the moment, but then subconsciously later we are thinking about it. So try and see, like when you say good morning in the hall and somebody says, oh, good morning, did you feel good about it? I know it sounds strange. We don't need to be on like that all the time, but it is worthwhile. But overall, here's what you need to remember with having these micro moments. Action takes away anxiety. It always has, it always will. Sitting at home, feeling anxious, feeling socially awkward, not feeling like yourself in social settings isn't going to get better just sitting at home thinking about it. You gotta get out, you gotta talk to somebody. Don't wait to feel ready. The confidence follows the reps and not the other way around. And if somebody interrupts your day at work, again, within boundaries, don't see it as an annoyance, as inefficiency. See this as extra reps you get in. Somebody else is practicing too, and they stop by your desk, or they asked you to go to coffee, or they asked you a question in the break room. Great, you now get to be on the flip side and have more participation and engage in what I like to call care. Shocking. It's not an annoyance, it's care. So just to recap, social muscles are conversational skills, are being around people. Turns out they are a muscle, they can atrophy, and what has happened over the last years has definitely atrophied those muscles. If you don't feel like yourself in social settings, you are not the only one. And then that loop of overthinking, avoidance, and hyper efficiency just keep us trapped in that social atrophy. But how we get it back is through practice in micro moments. Because they put in the reps in a safe way, they build trust with others, and they build trust in ourselves and what we can do. And yet they do it without completely draining our social battery. So this week, have 3 micro conversations by getting outside your house and choosing human connection. And then try and notice how you feel in those situations. Now, if you're curious how to go in confidently to bigger events like networking mixers, I mentioned I have my on-demand workshop, Confidently Connect. Got a little picture of it here. I will put a link to it in the description box, in the show notes, so that if that's something that would be helpful to you, you can go check it out. People say great things about it. I think you'll really enjoy it. But with that is all for today, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for tuning into the Creating Opportunities podcast. If you found this valuable, please hit subscribe wherever you're listening, and it would really help us out if you leave a quick review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And if you are watching this on YouTube, hi to my YouTube folks, please like and comment below. I do read every one, and it's small things like that that make a big difference in getting this show out there to more people who want to have better relationships in their work lives. So thank you for that, and I'll see you in the next one.